ask a question?
Against Maryland, you got off to a slow start shooting-wise.
Slow start. How about the whole game? Not just the start. Yeah, we had some good looks. We have to finish around the basket a little better. This game is, you get into league play, games get a little more physical, and you have to embrace that physicalness. You have to be able to finish through contact. You got to be able to keep your eyes on the basket and not look or where you're going to get hit. And you need to knock down some shots, and that's something that we got to keep working on and we got to get better at. I'm not sure we're as good a shooting team as we were at North Carolina State, and I'm positive we're not as bad as we were against Maryland. I think Maryland had a lot to do with it. They're a very good defensive team like we are. What's incredible is they shot worse than we did, percentage-wise. The difference was they were more aggressive taking the ball to the basket and were able to get to the free throw line a lot more.
I guess going into the game, if you would have known that you would have held Maryland to 60 points, you probably would have felt you would have been right there.
Well, yeah, when you look at that, especially the job we did on Stockland, we did a good job, and he made some baskets, but we made him work for those. But the difference in the game, as I said on Sunday afternoon, the watching the film confirmed it. Mosley was the toughest kid on the court, and I think he scored 11 points in the last 6 minutes, and then he had an assist on another one that was a three-point play, so his hand was in 14 points in the last 6 minutes of the game, and a lot of that was just sheer will. He's not a great shooter, and he knocks down a big three, and he was able to get to the free throw line and knock down his free throws as well.
Could you prefer when a game gets physical? It seemed like your team kind of thrived when some pushing, shoving.
Well, we have to get better at it. We need to learn how to thrive with that. I like, a bit more of a physical game. I think, but the one thing that it does do is it challenges your toughness. And as we continue to progress, we're going to keep getting tougher. We've responded very well in the past in those situations. We just didn't have as good of a response in this particular game. Our resiliency during that game was very good. They take the lead, we come out after a timeout and really execute some good stuff. But it's just, again, it's a marker along the way that shows, we're not quite there yet, or we're still along that same path, and we just have to keep getting better.
Coach, how much of being tougher is mental?
Well, people throw around the term tough, and I throw it around quite a bit as well. But a lot has to do with mentality. Are you sliding over and taking charges? They took 4 charges in that game, and we didn't take any. We pride ourselves on the hustle board, which is loose balls, charges, second chance points, and transition baskets. And if you win that battle, you win about 98% of your games, or at least that's the way it's been in 21 years of coaching. So we need to concentrate on that, because there are going to be games where you don't shoot the ball well. And we didn't, and with 4 minutes to go in the game, it's our ball, it's a 2-possession game. So we did some good things. I don't want it to seem like we didn't do a lot of good things in that game, but just not quite enough to do it on the road in this league.
Aside from telling the guys to be tougher and telling them that you want them to be tougher, what can you do to make them tougher? I mean, beat on them during practice with dummies? Or what?
No. There's first off, when you practice hard and when you play with great energy and effort, you're usually playing with some toughness there too. You know what I mean? I think those things go hand in hand, and it's just the fact that you have to embrace that every single day. And then all of a sudden that just becomes who you are, making those tough plays where there's a loose ball. The Georgia Tech players, the first guys on the court, on the floor, digging that thing out. 50-50 balls, those are big. Where it's a tip-tap rebound, who comes up with those? Some of that has to do with physical, and some of that has to do with sheer willpower as well.
Coach, you told us last week Virginia was one team, obviously, start of the season. They really embraced what Tony's doing there and really kind of bought into what he's teaching.
Yeah, 3 seniors in the starting lineup, with Scott kind of leading the way. There's no doubt. You watch him play. That's a player on a mission right now. I don't think he believes anyone can contain him, and he plays that way. But they move the ball extremely well. They take advantage of every mistake that you make. If you have a bad coverage on one screen, it's an open 3. If you try to take a shortcut, they get you on a cut or a back cut or a different type of screen. So you can never relax against these guys, and they have a really good balance. The guys that can make the shots are taking the shots that they can make, and I think a veteran group kind of embraces that, and I think that's what you have in Virginia right now.
Is Tony just kind of is he a play of what that team is? I mean, he was a gritty player as a kid, you know, at UWGB, and then when he got in the league, he just was, and that seemed like his team is a reflection of it.
No question about that. You know, they have the blocker mover offense where you got the big guys setting a lot of screens, but what they have is especially in Scott, a big guy that can make plays too, so they're not just screeners. But there's no doubt Tony Bennett as a player was a gritty, hard-nosed, you know, just tough guy, and that's the way he played, and that's the way his teams have always played. His dad's teams played that way. You know, I always say the year we won the national championship in 2000 at Michigan State, our biggest accomplishment that year was we beat Wisconsin 4 times. That's hard to do, and one of them was in the Final Four. And this team at Virginia is very similar to the team they had at Wisconsin that year.